Welcome to week 1 of AI and Creativity. As you may recall from the course introduction video in the first Canvas module section, I am not real. Well, I am kind of real, in a Tron sort of way. Basically, just like in the first Tron movie, AI ate your instructor, and now he lives in a purely digital realm. In the first half of the course, the first 6 weeks or so, we are focusing on using AI for storytelling and 2D, static image, visual production. These two areas of creative AI will be brought together in your midterm project, the illustrated short story. This week's lecture modules focus on foundational concepts of narrative, including how narrative relates to its conceptual opposite or other, namely poetry. Another way to state this contrast is between the logical effects of causality, space, and time, which are articulated by narrative forms, and logical, or even illogical, effects of association, juxtaposition, and contrast, which are articulated by forms like poetry and montage or collage. Of course, this is a spectrum of creative form, not a case of hard opposites that don't interact with each other, since obviously one can write a story in poetic form, or create a montage based on well-known narratives, which is what happens in most title sequences for movies or TV shows. But in essence, when we theorize narrative, we have to start with chains of logic that make sense of events that occur in a unified or defined space and time. So that's what we discuss in the lecture modules this week. In the Prompt Lab section, I cover foundational concepts of generative AI systems, such as what happens in the AI system when you enter a prompt, handy tips for getting more precise outputs from your prompts, and key strategies for getting the most out of AI image generation. In the Tech Lab section, I introduce the idea of DIY AI, or in other words, do-it-yourself AI, where you can install AI software on your home computers rather than use major platforms that are always asking for your money, if that is something that interests you. As in most weeks, there are some readings for the upcoming reflection essay assignment. Also, don't forget that the weekly quizzes can draw on material from either the lecture modules or the assigned readings. Each weekly quiz is on the material from the previous week, so for example, next week, in week 2 of the course, the quiz covers this week's lectures and readings, and so on for the rest of the semester. Finally, because this is week 1 of the course, this week's modules end with a fun video, because nothing says week 1 of a course quite like a fun video. Cool. Cheers. Have fun. Now I have to go dissolve myself in a vat of digital goo, which is where we AI clones go when the video's over.